Everybody. Today I'm going to be going over my UI, how I've set it up, and why I've set it up, and the decisions behind kind of where I've placed things and how I like to play with it. I've gotten a heap of requests recently about, what add-ons I'm using, what's where, and all the rest of it. So I'll just do it in a video format so I can pretty much answer everyone's questions at once. So we'll take a quick look at it. First, my party frame UI. So you can see here, I've just got big party frames in the middle. They are kind of off center, but I do fix that up. I just have to change it when I put in the keystone, because the keystone thing, just for some reason, doesn't have the right Z index on it. So that's kind of annoying. But as you can see, so we have big party frames, my atonement in the middle. We have debuffs on the right hand side, and then I have buffs when they come up on the left hand side. So that's things like powered barrier, defensive cooldowns when, like, the tank pops his vampiric blood, stuff like that. So what I use to track all of that is all done with Elvui. So toggle anchors, Elvui, party frames in the middle. So through unit frames, you can just do that through party frames here, all the settings and whatnot. There's a heap of them. I suggest if you're going to be using my UI or a similar one, you should get to know exactly how the UI actually works so you can customize for what you want to do. Using other people's UI isn't actually a very good option, because you generally find, like, everybody looks at their screen differently. I always kind of like to have, like, I've had very, like, hundreds of iterations of how I have put stuff, and if you go through some of my older videos, you see it's kind of the same sort of theme, it's just changed. So what I have is, I've always had my Weakauras and stuff, and my things to tell me where I am, what cooldowns and stuff. I always have them underneath my player frame on the left hand side here in this free space. So I have that, so you can see all the cooldowns I track. I have all my buffs up on the right hand side here. I like to put in sound notifications on some of my key things. So right now, powered shield, I have a sound notification. It's just a ping and flashes the border. And similarly with my innovate, when I get innovate, I have a very loud sound notification coming up, so I know when I get it. You might hear some of them going off in my videos. So that's something I like to do. So TellMeWhen is the add-on I use to track pretty much everything here. So TellMeWhen is very easy to set up. It's literally the same thing as Weakauras, it's just a more visual format. So, like, similar, I can just go, I want a buff, I want that buff to be fade, I want it to show the timer, and I want it to show it, half opacity. And that's literally all you have to do to set it up. So TellMeWhen, super easy, super visual, and that's what those notifications are there. So we're gonna go from left to right probably. The fucking Blizzard's default frame up there is really annoying. So we have Exorsus raid tools, so /ERT. Exorsus raid tools is an add-on written by Exorsus. They're the rank 1 guild at the moment. They've got the server world first Xavius. So I use Exorsus raid tools for, like, pretty much a lot of the features in here. They have a lot of really handy things about raid and inspect and invite tools and all that stuff. But the biggest thing people are asking is about what tracks the cooldowns here. That's the Exorsus raid tools, the raid cooldowns on the side. So you can choose what things to track. I track raid cooldowns. All our tanks track, iron barks and pain sups and all of that. That's up to them. So they're in charge of doing that. I'm in charge of doing the raid cooldowns, so I only track the raid cooldowns. And then I've just ticked innovate here as well, because I like to see when innovates are up to call for them. It also does have a little battle res monitor I have down here on the left hand side. If I enable the lock, you can see that come up there. So that's that. So all my action bars are done with Elvui. Super simple. I like to keep, as you can see, got 1, shift 1, control 1. That's all the way through this top panel, and then I have my function keys, mouse keys, and then just some random ones I use there for potions. Everything else is pretty much Elvui. So my Weakauras, I'll be just putting links to all of these in the description. A lot of them are all from the same page by this one guy who does a fantastic job in releasing all the Weakauras for the raids and the dungeons. Um, I'll give a link to that in the description, and then also this atonement track here. This was one as well. I mean, like, people ask where I find all these atonement trackers and stuff. It's literally, I typed into Google atonement Weakaura and I found this one. I changed it a bit. I removed some of the stuff in there and I just put it in the top. I just moved where the position of it was. So I will be releasing I'll be giving a week Elvui string for everything I've configured. And all the Weakauras. I'm not going to be just releasing my add-ons folder or whatever, because I do encourage people to set up their UI like how they like it. Using somebody else's, you're not going to be as responsive to where things are. So that is something you definitely want to be doing. My big wigs, you can just see there, toggle anchors. I just have it set up. I've had it like this for quite a long time. I just like to have my bars in these certain positions. They don't collide with anything, and I just know where to look when I'm looking for a timer. What else do we have? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So when we go through, we'll just go look at the log at the raid at the moment. As you can see, the center of my screen is always clear. I never like to have anything coming up over the center. I have the big wigs, you can see on the left hand side here. Very easy to see, nothing cluttering it. The atonement tracker, I make sure it's in the top left, so it's not that intrusive to where I want to see. It's not that imperative, it is mana saving, pressing the right spells at the right atonements, but it's more important to be getting out all your globals and getting out, seeing what's on the floor and stuff. So the main priority of my UI is to be keeping underneath the ground clear, and then tracking power word shield effectively, seeing what tank is tanking. So all of that very visual to see. You can see now as we get some mechanics on us, we just got some Weakauras popping up, some range meters in case they want to know what someone is. So yeah, so like the whole idea of it is pretty much just to keep everything in the center clear and try and display enough information to be effective, but not too much to be intrusive. I see a lot of people tracking, stupid things like cooldowns, like, trinket procs. There is absolutely no reason for anyone to be tracking things like trinket procs anymore, because there is no, like, dot snapshotting. Unless you're going to be playing differently for when a trinket procs, you don't care about when it's procs. Like, maybe if you're doing PvP and you want to try and burst somebody when a trinket procs, sure, go for your life. But in a raid, you are not going to be playing differently for when something like that procs, so there's no point in tracking it. It's just something else on your screen that is very clutter. One thing I also haven't mentioned is the add-on on the right hand side here. This little one that just displays this static text. I don't like numbers in my screen, just because there's not really much point. Like, it's nice to be able to see when stuff comes up, so I just have it on the side, not intrusive. I don't know why my tooltip's up in the middle of that. It should generally be down above my damage meter there, but that's an easy fix. But yeah, so I'll be releasing just basically string exports for a lot of this stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about my UI, I'll be referring to this video, probably a lot of the things into it, just time links, I guess. But yeah, if you do have any questions about how to configure something, I'll try and answer it to my best. Just don't, if it's something about like Weakauras or TellMeWhen, try and do some research on that for yourself, because I'm not gonna start writing people TellMeWhens and Weakauras and stuff. That's something everyone really should learn to do by themselves. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this answered some questions.